same old guy, different place tonight, back in the old home studio here in Ocala. Buddy Martin. This is a Buddy Martin show. Glad to be with you on this Meldon Law Monday. And what a night to do a show after a terrific win by the Florida Gator baseball team. They're advancing on to play again tomorrow. Lots to talk about there with Shane Matthews, a guy who was actually in Omaha until yesterday. Jeffrey Meldon will be with us. Tell us what it's like out there in that fine Nebraska city. And, of course, it's Franz Beard, the Iron Duke, all coming your way tonight on the Buddy Martin Show. And tell your friends and neighbors we're on the air. We want you to come and join us and let us talk about what a great time it is to be a Gator for everybody. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? Stand by. We're coming your way.
Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome. I can't imagine if you're a Gator fan, you haven't heard it by now. Florida advances another round in Omaha after a narrow 3-2 win today over a team that is eliminated, North Carolina State. Another great performance by Cags. I mean, I said it today in my column. Shane Matthews has said he's the best baseball player ever to play at Florida and one of the greatest we've ever seen. And I propose in my column today, go ahead and start the statue. There'll never be one I can think of, at least in my lifetime. They'll be better. And I know this guy also joins me in that. Let's get the statue built, Shane Matthews from Pot Up with Matthews. Hello, Shane.
What's happening, buddy? How you doing?
Are you sleeping or are you looking at me?
I'm texting.
Oh, okay. All right, well, he's texting. I'm talking on the show, and a nice win today for Sully's boys. Yet another terrific performance by the pitching staff and the power on that staff. And I got to tell you, I'm so impressed with how they played. When they get their backs to the wall, Shane, they're just really tough to beat, aren't they?
Yeah, it was a good win. They'll probably be playing Kentucky tomorrow.
Yeah, it's 5-0. They're down 5-0, right now?
Yeah, they've no hit. Kentucky hasn't even had a hit yet. A&M's the best team out there. But it was a good win. I saw bits and pieces of it. Cag struggled early on the mound. We pitched well. We still didn't hit great. I mean, the 3-run homer was the difference. NC State out-hit us. But they're finding ways to win. Neely was great in relief.
He was sensational.
And just I think Pierce Capola's pitching tomorrow.
Well, I'll get into this a little bit later on. Somebody else posted this today. Their pitching staff is in really pretty good shape right now. You know, they got some, and Pierce Capola's one of them. We'll talk about it later. They've got some arms left down there, and they've still got Neely, and they've still got Cags if they need them. So I really felt for him today that he couldn't get the ball over. But Sully got out of there just in time. Only one run could have been disastrous right there. And, of course, set up for that pitcher just kept throwing those fastballs. I thought he was getting by with it, didn't he? And then Caglione hit one that was a frozen rope, a laser. Looked like it was over about 8 feet off the ground, and he went over the fence and was 150 miles an hour. This guy is such a terrific hitter and player. And I saw a quote, I wrote about it today. The Texas A&M coach said he thought Caglione was the best defensive first baseman in college baseball he had ever seen. So add that to his repertoire, in addition to hitting for average 400, in addition to hitting 33 home runs, now 34 this year, in addition to being able to pitch. This guy is just got a magical quality about him.
Yeah, I think today was the last time you'll see him ever pitch in baseball. I don't think he'll pitch again if the Gators keep moving along. He ain't going to pitch at the next level. He's going to be strictly a first baseman and hitter.
Could be right there. Well, 5-4, Gators over NC State. Brandon Haley struck out the 4 of the last 5. This guy is such a gritty performer, and I want to talk about him some tonight. I was talking to a friend of mine today about his style, the aggressive motion he has, that big old windup coming over the top, and he just goes right at the hitters, Shane, which is what we saw earlier with Clemson and other teams. He just went right at him, and I love that about him. He's fierce, and he has pitched beautifully in this tournament, and I got new respect for him, and he's going to make a lot of money, Shane.
Yeah, I mean, I can only remember him in the postseason play, having one mistake, and that was giving up the 3-run homer that I think it was in the 9th inning at Clemson. But yeah, he's a competitor. I think you got to have that bulldog mentality if you're going to be a reliever. And I would assume he can pitch again tomorrow. I don't know from a pitch count what his pitch count is or what Sully and those guys have planned. I know he's going to want the ball. It's just from an arm standpoint, will he be able to do it?
Well, I think when you count, I mean, he didn't pitch that many, 3 innings? So he's got some.
Yeah, but I don't know how many pitches. And I do know this, that Sully is very, very he makes sure on these pitch counts. Now, you would think the athlete would go, look, coach, I don't give a damn about the pitch count. This is the end of the season. If I got to throw, I'll throw. We'll see.
Yeah. Shane, some people say the Gators are playing with house money now. They've already done more than they were expected. And that whatever they get now is just plus, but I don't think they're ready for that. They still got something to prove. And I think they seem to play better when it's all on the line, don't they? So if I said to you this year, they'll have barely a 500 record, a few games over, they'll limp into out of the SEC into the regionals, and they'll barely make it into the super regionals, and then they'll be the lowest ranked team in the 8 in the World Series, yet they still have a chance. What would you say?
Well, I don't think anybody, I knew they were going to get in the tournament after they won the series at Georgia at the end of the year, because that put them over 500.
Sully said that today, by the way. That was the turning point, winning 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I mean, that got you in automatically. It didn't matter what happened in the SEC tournament. I knew that they wouldn't try to win. They wouldn't care if they lost game 1 there, because it did not matter, and they did. They lost it. The best thing that happened to the Gators is they were not matched up with anybody in a regional that they had seen this year. And they've had timely hitting, because if you look at it, they struggled at the plate in a couple of games, but somehow got a hit here or there, and they pitched better, I think, than most people anticipated in the postseason. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a tremendous success if they'd gone and lost the first 2 games in Omaha. It wouldn't bother me one bit, because nobody expected them to be there. I think Sully's showing what kind of coach he is, and it's still not one of his most talented teams. They're finding ways to win games.
Yeah, I agree. But if I said, Shane, you got some money to play with now, and you're going to bet some odds here, do you think Florida still be a good play as a long shot?
No, I mean, they got to win a lot of games. I picked A&M to win the World Series. I think they're the best team. So regardless, the Gators will have to beat, in my opinion, the best team in America twice to get to the championship series.
Well, that was a tough way to lose that game.
Well, they got to beat Kentucky, which I think Kentucky's going to lose tonight. So they got to beat Kentucky first.
This is 5-0 last I heard. A&M. But here's the thing about it: this team, uh, they just lost one game, and it was a miracle play on that robbed them of a home run. Would have tied it up. That would have kept their pitcher in the game. They are playing at a highest level, and right now they are certainly capable of. If everyone's saying capable of winning this thing, I don't expect them to do it. I pretend. No, I don't. But I do think this team has got a shot here. That's what keeps us so interested. Is they keep telling us we got a shot, and they're playing like it, Shane.
Well, they are. I mean, like I said, it's just like when it comes to football, there's nobody that's training over there on a daily basis thinking they're going to lose every game. The Gators expect to go. Somebody texted my show today. I hope Sully has them ready to play today. Sully had them ready to play against A&M in game 1. That's baseball. A guy makes a play on a home run ball and against Cade Curlin. That's baseball.
Do you think it was out, Shane?
I didn't watch it enough to notice. The guy didn't have to make a spectacular catch.
Well, he had to go over the fence and bring it back.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a hard catch. It was a good play, but I didn't think it was like a great catch. Because he looked like he just jumped straight up and just called it to me. He just knew where he was on the field.
Yeah, I don't think it was a spectacular catch like we've seen some spectacular catches, but I do think that it was a play. Like I wrote today, you had 3 walk-offs, okay? 3 straight walk-offs. That's amazing. And then you got a game that went down to the final out and took a superb defensive play to save the game and rob Curlin out the home run. So, how much better could you want it? Now, tonight, it's a little different story. But it's been I'm going to propose this discussion for later for you and I, and that is that how good is college baseball? How good? And I must admit I'm coming back to it now after a few years. So I know there's been great baseball for a while. But in my opinion, and we'll talk about this later, it is now the level of good AA baseball. And the good thing about it is these players come and stay there for 3 or 4 years in the community, and their community gets attached to them, a la Caglione, and then there's something to play for. And it really is because it's so popular, especially in the SEC. Shane, they're saying some programs are actually making money in baseball. So that's really, and we know Mississippi State's been doing it, LSU, whatever. But now Florida's in that game, and it's just been, I think the whole level of the sport, I don't know what it is about this year, but it seems to me there are more college baseball fans than I can ever remember.
Well, I think college baseball to me might be the hardest college sport to win a national title. Because a lot of stuff has to go your way, man. And, you can get some teams in there, the Ole Misses, how Florida's playing this year that didn't have great seasons, and they can get hot at the right time. You don't see that happening in football because you don't have that opportunity. You have to have a tremendous year to have that opportunity to win a national title. So, college baseball is exciting. There's no time limit. There's no time on the clock. It's, you got X amount of outs, and you have life until those outs have run out.
You do. Give me your thoughts about the statue for Caglione. Is that realistic? I don't know what has to happen to make that.
If it happens, it'll happen in 15 years from now.
Well, they don't have a process for it like they have with football, right?
The only reason those statues, from what I've been told, got built for football was a friend of the Tebow family offered to pay for them. And that's why they're there. Now, whether that's true or not, I've heard that from multiple sources.
Yeah. Here's a question from Michael Burton. You can answer this. If we beat UK, do we need to take 2 of the 3 from Texas A&M? Well, first you got to get 2 of them. That's the number. We've got to beat Kentucky first. So lay it out as you know it, Shane. Next will be the loser of Kentucky and A&M.
We play, as of right now, Kentucky is getting no hit through 7 innings. And so we'll play them if Kentucky loses tomorrow night at 7:00.
Yeah. And the answer to this question is yes, 7:00. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane, have you ever been to Omaha?
I have not been to Oklahoma City twice, but not Omaha.
Well, you know what? I've been there, but not for the World Series. And it's funny. In my jobs, I've had opportunities to be in jobs where I could travel to any event I wanted to go to at certain times, and I've seen probably 90% of all the big events I wanted to see. And the one that I didn't see, I just didn't have the time or didn't go. Now I wish I had. Probably too late for me to go now, but it has become magical. It's always been this good. Have I missed this, Shane? Or
Yeah, it's always been outstanding. The problem is it's so long. I mean, the Gators could be there for like 10 days possibly. So for a fan to go out there, you better have a lot of money. You know, I had Matt Laporta, who obviously Cag's tired his record today. He was on my show the other day.
Yeah.
He drove his 4 kids and wife and kids.
Yeah.
They drove out there, and they're going to stay until the Gators lose. So he got there on Friday. And what's today? He's definitely going to be there till tomorrow. So who knows how long they're going to be there.
He was there for the home run to tie this record. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a guy who's been there. And before I go, let me just say they do practice law at Meldon Law. They seem to have a lot of fun. Sometimes you wonder, but they do. And if you have anything you'd like to talk about in the way of law, in terms of reviewing a case you may have, or you want to have some information, Meldon Law is there for you. So go ahead and log on and say hello with their Facebook page. They give away a bunch of stuff. Maybe we can give us some stuff tonight. So let's see what he brought back from Omaha. Hello, Jeffrey. How you doing?
I'm ready to play.
Put him in.
Put me in center field right now.
Well, they don't need help in center field right now, but we might need help out the bullpen. All right.
Yeah, we had a blast in Omaha.
Well, tell us about it. What was the best thing you did, and what was your favorite food that you ate, and what was the ballpark like? Give us a little insight because we've never been.
I've never been to Omaha before, so it was a first, and we had an absolute blast. I mean, we started Friday, and we didn't finish the game until Sunday morning. So we had a 4-hour delay. So, of course, we hit the bars.
Uh-huh.
What do you do with a 4-hour delay? They wouldn't even let us in the ballpark because they were worried about lightning and tornadoes. And, you know, we aren't used to tornadoes here.
Yeah. Well, it's dangerous, you guys out there, old guys being out in Omaha like that in the bars. I'm worried about you when you go out there.
Come on.
So what was the best thing, Jeffrey, that you saw and did?
Just being in that ballpark was friggin' amazing. You know, I walked around it 2 or 3 times because you can walk around the whole park. And we had a blast. We got there early Saturday for game 1. And we didn't have tickets, so we walked up to the gate and said, you know, you got any tickets? They said, well, we have standing room only for $35. I said, we're in. So we got to see an exciting game 1, and then you know, we came back, and boy, our ball game was incredible. I mean, I kept looking at that catch in right field over and over again, and yeah. The backstory on that is their best player got injured, and he played right field, and he was great. But he is about 4 inches shorter than the right fielder that was his substitute. So the tale goes that if they would have had their starting right fielder in, that would have been a home run.
Well, I sound like a guy who's going to go back to Omaha. What if they somehow gets to the finals, Jeffrey? What are you going to do?
I don't know, buddy. You know,
you'll be in Europe.
I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, you said you're hooked on it. That's great.
So anyhow, I got to tell you that ballpark is amazing, and what's pretty cool is that except for letting Creighton play baseball there, that field is unused all year long. It's just for the College World Series.
Beautiful, yeah, it
And,
is.
and they really designed an incredible park. It's a great experience for the fans. And we sat in different locations. Every location was great. And then for the Gator game, we wound up in the second row behind the first base dugout, which is the Gator dugout. And so that was fun seeing the players coming off and on the field and their faces and their emotions and all. And I feel good about the Gators right now. I think their head's in the right spot.
Well, the other thing is the crowds. Now, they didn't have a full sold-out crowd today, Shane, and they probably wouldn't have played in the losers bracket on a Monday afternoon. I understand that. But, boy, the night games, their crowds are raucous. I mean, some way out of hand, like the A&M guys who came down and started ragging on, who was it, about the dead bad boy. You hear about that, Shane? They arrested those two guys from A&M.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. Unfortunately, I did not see one play live of the A&M game because I had a big golf match at Golden Ocala on Sunday morning. So when I found out the game was going to start at 11:16 Eastern time, I'm like, I got to get up at like 6:35 to get head to Ocala. I can't watch this game.
Yeah.
But I saw it all over Twitter.
Well, apparently that's what happened, and I have the information. I've forgotten who it was that they were ragging on, but they got him out of there in a hurry.
Yeah, they were right in front of us because.
Yeah, what happened? Give us an eyewitness. Wait a minute, we got you as a witness now.
No.
Good information.
So the Gators section was right behind the first base dugout, and they were between the first base dugout and home plate. And apparently, I didn't hear what they said, but they were ragging on somebody in the dugout. That's what got them really upset, and they were saying mean things. I don't know what they said. Shane, did you?
According to the article, was there a Gator bat boy who died? Somebody's bat boy died. They were making fun of him, according to what I read.
Well, anyhow, at first the guys were resisting, and then an army of security came. And they finally realized they were, out of the game, and they walked them up the stairs right past us. And, I think they were just drunk, stupid.
Yeah, well, they've been overserved, and you're going to rain delay. That's what happens, Shane.
Yeah.
You have seen it happen. Fist fights break out in Yankee Stadium after 3-hour rain delays. All right,
yeah. It says taking crap to Sully about the family.
Yeah.
Maybe Brody and them.
Yeah, I don't know. And by the way, I want you, before you go, Jeffrey, to help us in this cause. You're connected. You know people. You know people at the university. You can help get this done. First of all, a question. Is Caglione the greatest baseball player that ever to play at the University of Florida?
It's a good, Matt Laporte is in the conversation, certainly. But, right now, the fact that he goes, pitching and hitting is pretty incredible.
The Texas A&M coach says he's the greatest defensive first baseman he's ever seen in college.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that too. So, yeah.
So, as you know, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I think the Cleveland Indians, I think they call them something different now, but the Cleveland Indians.
Guardsmen, right? The Guardsmen, like that. Yeah.
You don't acknowledge that, but anyhow, they have the first pick.
How about that?
So
I don't think he'll go number one.
I think the Georgia player or a pitcher, one of the pitchers, maybe Tennessee's pitcher.
Shane,
what do you hear about that? Are you hearing? What I'm hearing is 4 or 5.
Something like 4 or 5. By the way, Kentucky is still being no hit here, and we're in the.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're in the bottom of the 7th, so no hit.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, so my point was the baseball games are really exciting. The crowds get all amped up, and it's great to see crowds that way. But I want to get back to the subject of Shane. You already declared some weeks ago that Cat Milne was the greatest player, college player. You said he and Brad Bookerson, but you finally went ahead and said, I believe, that you thought Cat Milne was the greatest college baseball player you've seen, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
on my show.
Well, I think it's all because he's current.
Yeah.
We've had some great ones. Brad Wilkerson to me might be a better two-way player than Cags. I don't know about hitter-wise from power standpoint, but Wilkerson was a tremendous pitcher. As Jeffrey said, Laporta. You could put Wyatt Langford in there. And I'm sure some dudes back in the 60s and 70s deserve to have that recognition too. I'm just not familiar with them. But yeah, Cags is a special talent. I mean, the power he hits with is just, we just don't see that on a regular basis. And so yeah, I mean he's at the top of my list, but I haven't been watching Gator baseball but for about 25 years or so.
Yeah, well, I would say this, that I don't want to put anybody else, including Laporta, down. But when you look at his body of work, would they get, because the finals that might also add something to it. But here's a guy, name me somebody more versatile. The guy can hit for average. What is the over 400? Hit home runs, what's that, 67 home runs in 2 years. Pitches. And plays first base. And as I said, the Texas A&M coach says the greatest defensive first baseman he's ever seen. So and I'm ready to say, build the damn statue. Go ahead and build it and put him out there. I don't know how that goes, Jeffrey. You can find out about that. You know people. He deserves a statue, in my opinion. He didn't get golden spikes. Maybe we could paint the spikes gold in the statue. And how do we do that, Jeffrey?
Yeah, no problem. We'll make it happen.
There you go. There you go.
We'll call Freddie Weeby.
Freddie, that's right. We'll call Weeby and see what. So anyway, I think it's been. This is the last thought, Jeffrey. I'll let you go, and thank you for joining us from Omaha. There's an excitement in the air now around the campus. It seems to me, the people I've talked to at least. Shane lives there, you live there, you know more, that I have not sensed. I'm sensing that maybe they're building on something. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but it seems to me there's an air about what's going on there. And whether this will carry over to football season, I don't know, Jeffrey, but what's your feeling?
Well, I'll tell you, I think big things are happening. I think when you have a coach that takes the team to the World Series 9 out of 17 years and does what we're doing and bringing in, great players year after year, that we're definitely there. And I think it's an exciting team. We got a brand new stadium, which makes it even nicer. So I think Gator baseball for me is a blast.
All right. Here, call the need to order. We thereby vote to put the statue up. Okay, we need to do that. So
they have a statue right there in the entrance to the stadium in Omaha.
Yeah, they do. Well, they're going to put one of Sully up there, which they should do. Obviously, what an unbelievable situation. So,
but
all right, Jeffrey. Anything else we should know about before we let you go back to your business there? Yeah. What do you want to add?
There we are with the statue. I don't know if you can see it, but
right.
The statue. So we need to put one in front of the Gator Stadium. Maybe we'll honor Sully and some others. But anyhow, hey, looks like we're going to be playing Kentucky tomorrow.
Yeah, looks that way.
I haven't studied what their pitching rotation is looking like, so I don't know what's going to go on. But
there's a stat here somewhere I'll try to get to. But someone put it in, and I thought it was great. they lined up, and I can't remember who said it. I'll give credit to it. I think it was in All Kinds of Weather, about how the pitching is really set up for Florida quite well. I mean, they can. Let me see if I can find it right here. Hold on a second.
Hey, Bobby, I want to tell you while you're looking for it.
Yeah.
I read your article the other day, and it was awesome about college baseball and the Gators and everything that's going on. I really appreciated what you had to say, putting things in perspective.
Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that coming from you. I know you're you know what you're talking about, and I appreciate that very much. Let me just get this information in because it's very good. All right. Didn't use Pierce Capola at all, right? Shane, you think he's going to pitch next game, right?
I think he pitches tomorrow night. Yeah.
Didn't use Luke McNally at all, fully rested, right? Young arm that's really looked good. Didn't use Fisher Jameson at all, fully rested. Didn't use Frank Menendez at all, fully rested. Jake Clemente threw less than 30 pitches. He's good for tomorrow. Brandon Neely only threw 45 pitches. Wow, he looked like he threw 150 because the way he throws is amazing. And he was so good. He's just so amazing. So, hey, the pitching might be okay.
Buddy, I don't think Brandon Neely's going to be able to come back to the Gators next season after what he's been showing the Major League Scouts.
Oh, no, he's gone. And he just made himself a bunch of money. And God bless him, he earned it. And the way he paid, I love his aggressive style. So,
hey, Shane,
all right.
Shane, I got a question for Shane. Have you played that Adena golf course yet?
Oh yeah, I played it multiple times.
So what do you think?
It's awesome.
Freaking awesome. Buddy, you guys in Ocala have the best freaking golf course ever.
I know all about Adena. I know it. I played it a few times. Yes, it's beautiful.
Marion County's got so many good golf courses.
We do. We do. Come on down.
We have one good golf course in town at the university. Other than that, we need somebody to build one. Hopefully it's being built soon.
All right, before we let you go, let's just get Franz in on the deal. We want to get a statue for Cags, and Jeffries promises he'll ante up the money for it. What do you think, Franz?
I'll tell you what a great representative of the University of Florida. I mean, he is, and you watch him. He's a 21-year-old kid out there having fun, and the best thing you can say about him is he always represents Florida very, very well. You know, you talk to him in his interviews, everything like that, and you never cease to have a moment. You never have a moment when you look at him and you think, this guy's just, punching a ticket, punching the clock and trying to get it over with. Here he could be on cruise control and still could be one of the top 3 or 4 guys drafted, which is going to make him about $10 million. But instead, you watch him and he is out there busting it. And you got to admire guys like that they're there for the love of the game and they play as hard as they can every time, and they're just having fun doing it. And what a great representative he is of UF.
Yes, he is. He certainly is. All right, let's let these guys go to bed. Not Shane yet, but Jeffrey's old and he has to go to bed early. He has to get up tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow night, 7:00, we're going to be probably playing Kentucky, and that should be a blast.
You better crank up that plane again, because if they get to the finals, you have to go out there. Or when does your trip start to Europe? Well, you're going to have a little conflict there, huh?
Buddy, find me somebody with a private jet that wants to take a passenger out there.
All right. Well, Shane knows those people. We'll find it for you. Hey, Jeffrey, thanks, man. I'm glad you enjoyed your trip, and we'll talk to you again soon, all right?
Hey, Franz, I love reading your articles.
Hey, thanks,
What about
Jeffrey?
my articles? Jeffrey, do you read my articles?
let me say this before you go, Jeffrey. Alachua County and this surrounding area is better off because of the things you do to help kids along the way get recognition for their work in the classroom as well as on the athletic fields. and you've done a marvelous job of that. And it is, I talk to kids every day, and they look forward to it. They say, hey, I want to get on Mr. Meldon's list and everything like that. They say, hey, can you tell Mr. Meldon I'm making all A's, and things like this. So it resonates throughout the community, and that's a great thing.
Well, it's a class event, and I was there and honored to be there. And I second what he said, different.
Yeah, no, you were great at the at our 25th anniversary, and it was awesome. So I wanted to thank you for joining us, buddy. It was really exciting to see everybody there, and the head ball coach showed up, and Dr. Young, and it was a pretty cool lineup.
If we ever get Shane off the golf course, we'll get him there one day.
No, I was going to go. I was out of town seeing my grandkid.
Yeah, you have a legitimate reason.
Yeah, I invited Shane.
Yes, he did.
Anyhow, hey guys, thank you for
thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate all you do, buddy.
Buddy, get to sleep early because you might be playing center field tomorrow night.
I'll be coming on. No, I'll be going to the mound. Yeah. All right, Jeffrey. Take care, brother. Thank you. All right, that guy does so much. It's amazing what he does. All right, Shane. Before we leave the baseball topic, here's a subject I want to talk to you guys about. That get both your opinions. But first, let me tell you about one of our sponsors and what they do for us is so terrific. If you need an MRI, Titan MRI is the place you need to know about. It's located in North Central Florida, Gainesville, and Ocala. One of your sponsors too, Shane, Titan MRI, and they want you, the customer, to have a good experience, and they go out of their way to make sure that you do. That's why they custom make appointments for you. If you want to go there off hours or weekends, whatever, they'll make an appointment for you to come get your MRI. And your MRI, you can, by the way, if you don't have insurance, you can pay with cash or card. And also, they want you to know that when you come there, they're aware that some people get uncomfortable and claustrophobic, and they have special cameras for that reason to try to make it easier for you. So if you need an MRI, I encourage you to contact TitanMRI.com. All right, loudest stadiums that you've ever been in. All right, this is just top of mind. I have a list somebody sent me. Give me your top 5 or whatever. I know. You want me to go first? I'll give you what I think is. I think one stadium is really loud that people don't realize is Auburn. But if Auburn's not having a good team, they're not as loud. But I would say my 5 would be Tennessee, LSU, probably Auburn. I've never been to Oregon, so I can't say that. But Penn State, they're very loud, and Florida would be mine. Franz?
Florida, LSU, Neyland would be 3. Alabama would have to be there. I mean, we were there in 2005, buddy, and it gets deafening. And then I'll throw one in there that's going to also be an SEC school next year, and that's Texas.
That'll be a whole new game, yeah.
102,000 people at seats, and they just absolutely love the Longhorns, and they're loud they're loud 2 hours before the game and 2 hours after it. Penn State's pretty loud.
They're white out.
Ohio State. Everybody would think that because of the size of the stadium, that it would be tremendously loud, but it isn't.
Not loud. It's not that loud.
And the reason I think is we have an advantage in the way our stadium is built in that it holds the noise in. And I think the way LSU Stadium is built holds the noise in. I've been to the Horseshoe, and they're loud, but they're not that loud, Goodness, I just can't. I don't know why, but it's not there. I've heard Oregon's really, really loud, but I've never been there for a game that mattered. I'll throw one in also that's probably going to be a little bit of a surprise to everybody, and that is Clemson. Clemson, because of it's down in that hole, very much like Florida in that the actual playing surface is like about 30, 40 feet below street level, holds the noise in very, very well. And Clemson's
All right,
very
Shane,
good.
how about you in terms of where you played also? Which ones were the tough? I mean, Auburn was a tough place to play. I know.
Yeah,
Alabama.
I don't think anything compares to Baton Rouge, Death Valley.
Yeah.
It's my favorite venue. And then Neyland Stadium is extremely loud as well. A lot of people in both those ballparks, but I think LSU, I would put them at number one.
One thing I want to say, a lot depends on the importance of the game. That's how loud the crowd gets. Everybody talks about the 97 is the FSU crowd, right? Shane, Franz, the FSU crowd, 97, whatever. All right. Oh, all right, Shane.
I'll tell you the loudest I think it's ever been at Florida. And this is even before they got it up to 90,000. And that is FSU, Shane's junior year, when we beat them 14-9. I'm sitting there with my hands over my ears, and my ears still hurt. It was so loud, and it stayed that way from, I would say, midway through the first quarter on, and it did not. It was relentless. The noise was just unbelievable.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, let's let this guy go. He got to get up and do a show. Who you got on tomorrow, Shane?
I got you, buddy, and Edgar. Edgar wants to talk a little golf as well, and we'll recap
we never
baseball.
got to talk about golf tonight, Shane. Can we just say
Well, you were worried about building statues all night, buddy.
Well, I was. It's true. Give me your top of mind. Here's what I'm going to leave you with. A friend of mine, I had this conversation, very astute golf guy. He loves quality golf. He knows the game, plays at a high level. We had a discussion about DeChambeau. Now, you know, in our picks over the past recent years, I've always liked DeChambeau.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like what happened to him on the LIV tour. And the question is, did he damage himself by going there? And yes, he did. But did he resurrect himself? He conducted himself in a fabulous way. He not only played great golf, but he also acted like a great human being to people. But there's some people who said, yeah, but he wore his brand from LIV on the team logo. What's your take on that, Shane?
Well, all those guys on LIV wear their team logos. That's their kind of their uniform now. I used to not like Bryson DeChambeau back in the day. He's changed a lot for what, you know, you've heard, you can read different articles and figure out why or what have you, but I thought he played phenomenal golf. He got some fortunate breaks. As wild as he was with his driver, he got very lucky, but he made a lot of great shots. I hated it for Rory. I'm telling you, golf is probably the most difficult sport because it's just you, and it can haunt you, man. I know a lot of guys that are tremendous college golfers, but they get in a slump. They have one bad round or one bad shot, and they're done. It's such a mental game. I hate it for those guys. But I mean, you think about it, Roy had that thing won, and he's going to take 3 or 4 weeks off until the Scottish and British Open. And, you know, he didn't speak to the media, people giving him crap about that.
He did not help himself there.
Yeah, but if I'm Roy, I wouldn't give 2 craps what people think of me right now.
Shame, but some people do care about it, and it isn't a good look for him right now. Anyway.
Well, I mean, buddy, what would you do if you were in that situation?
Well, I would do what Greg Norman did when he blew the Masters to and took the questions like a man. Nick Fallow being like a drum.
Well, I mean, what are you going to say? I missed the putt. I mean,
well, I've seen many other athletes do it, Shane. Stand there and take.
Well, some do and some don't. But I mean, it doesn't really matter what we think.
It does matter because the great ones take the bullets. The great ones do, and I've seen many times in my life. I don't have a problem if a guy don't want to talk to the media, but in that situation, when it was like the story, and he choked his way in, and he needed to answer for it in some fashion, to get in his car and drive away was not a good look for. And I like Rory, by the way.
Yeah.
Not a good look. So
Yeah,
anyway.
well, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I can see it both ways.
Well, I know you can, Shane. That's why you're a talk show host. So I'll talk to you in the morning, Coach.
All right.
Thanks. All right. All right. Shane Matthews. He is the host of Pot Up and Matthews. Before I get to a couple of things with you, we have things to cover. Lauren Meadows sent a message here about you had it right. Dobbins is gone. What does that mean?
Florida's hired a new pitching coach. Chelsea Dobbins says she's going to concentrate on her two young kids. And they've hired Stephanie Van Brakel, the head coach at the University of Memphis, but a former three-time All-American at Alabama who won 97 games, struck out 1,115 batters in her career, 1.86 career ERA, or 1.56 career ERA. And she was the pitching coach also at Alabama when they won a national championship. And she is particularly credited with developing Montana Fouts, who a lot of people say is one of the top 3 or 4 great pitchers ever in the history of college softball. But she's going to be the new pitching coach here. She'll be moving here with her husband and her 2 kids and taking over a staff that has added, by the way, a pitcher out of UNC Wilmington who has a career ERA of 1.8, who has 37 career wins, and is coming here shore up a pitch. What's going to be a really good pitching staff next year, particularly when you consider they picked up Red Oxley out of Bartow, who's one of the greatest high school pitchers ever in the state of Florida, to go with Ava Brown, to go with Keegan Rothrock. This is going to be a really loaded softball team that Jim Bolton has. And I have to add this to you, buddy. Selena Harris has officially signed with Florida Gymnastics. She has 5 perfect 10s in her career. She's coming here from UCLA. And this is next year, DiCello comes back. Sky Blakely, who is probably the number 2 gymnast on what's going to be the Olympic team. Liam Wong will be on there. Florida next year, I'm telling you something. Rebuilding year in track and field, so we could see 3 track national championships next year. Wouldn't surprise me to see the Gators win it in softball next year or gymnastics next year. And by golly, don't count Sully out. I mean, Florida baseball is in really, really good shape right now.
Well, let's transition to that right now. I heard Sully say today he has learned, believe it or not, a lot about having to play a super regional at somebody else's backyard and earn his way to a different route. So it's been a learning experience for him. You've been closely monitoring this team, watched them play, and I'm saying it's the bottom of the 8th now. Kentucky is up at bat, and so I'm so everybody knows about Cags. I mean, they should if they don't. But the guy I'm so impressed with is Brandon Neely. What a fierce competitor this guy is. You give him the ball, and he goes out there, and you got to drag him out like almost like getting a root canal and get him off the mound. He doesn't want to leave. He comes at you with his funky motion, or he draws it back, and man,
separates his hands. He kept saying here and then separates his hands as he goes.
And you see all these arms and hands, elbows coming at you, the batter, and then he just delivers that right side, and his ball has something on it, and he comes in and just goes right at the hitters, as he did in Clemson when he struck out 11 Clemson batters in a relief role.
That was at Oklahoma State that he got the 11, but at Clemson he pitched back-to-back days, 4 innings each day, and threw 131 pitches in 2 days. Unheard of. Tough guy mentally. And this is a guy that it's a tribute to what he went through during the season when he couldn't get anybody out. And this is a guy that had to rebuild his confidence. And you pitched in your lifetime. When you were in high school, and I think you pitched freshman baseball at UF.
Did.
You understand
after having a double day invented the game.
You understand how much confidence plays into pitching. You see guys out there that don't have great stuff, but they win, and they win big, and they win constantly. And so much of it is confidence to make the pitches where they want to make them, when they want to make them. And that's 90%. What did Yogi say? Half of baseball, 90% of baseball is half mental. That's what Yogi said. Yeah. And 90% of it is between the ears.
Well, there's nothing like, not to interrupt you, but your point was well taken. There's nothing worse than being in a big game as a pitcher when you don't have your best stuff and you're struggling to get it across the plate, and you cannot get it across the plate. There was a moment of terror today for Kaggs when they did take him out eventually. He couldn't get the ball over it. I thought, man, that is a terrible feeling. You feel so alone out there on that mountain.
Then what did he do?
I don't.
He's got the bases loaded. Run, he's given up a run. He's got the bases loaded, and he comes back and gets a strikeout and a fly ball out.
But in that moment when the bases are loaded and you can't get the ball across the plate, that's terror. That's absolute terror. You can't get your.
But you look at what he did. Look at how he regained his composure.
I'm telling you that moment before.
I know. What I'm saying is the great ones.
How you feel being out there alone that mountain and you can't make it work. It's difficult. Anyway, yeah.
What I'm saying is the great ones have the ability to pull it together and regain their composure. And he showed us. He showed us in that moment why he's a great pitcher. He didn't have his best stuff, but he pulled it together and got him through an inning that could have been a blowout inning.
Yeah. All right. So you sum it up the last couple of days. Been some unbelievable plays, the home run that Curlin was robbed of, the fierce bullpen duties by Neely, Kaggs' moonshot today, of all the things you've seen. And then I think that one of the things is that I think Florida showed a tremendous fighting spirit built around Kaggs, I think, that is really kind of made this team special. Sum it up with your thoughts about all that.
Well, the one thing about a team is this. Teams can have great individuals and they're never great teams. They are a team in the concept that there's however many guys you've got dressed out, et cetera, like that. And they're a team in that concept, but they're not really a team because that team you don't see that team pulling all for one for all. We hear that stuff and people say, that's BS. It's not BS. It's real stuff. The teams that typically make it and win are the teams that do have that extra oomph where everybody really is pulling together and pulling for each other. And I think it took a while for this to become a team. I think they had all the ingredients of it, but I think that you go back to that Georgia series, and I think even Sully would probably admit
he made a comment today about it. He actually said that's where it all started.
That's when they became a team and stopped being a bunch of really talented individuals who all wore the same color jersey. And to his credit, he showed enormous patience during the year to get them to this point. He did, he's a kind of guy that if he had gone, I'm sure that there are fans who were at these games, game after game, who probably said, why isn't he just ripping and shredding these guys? Why isn't he benching guys on and on and on and on and on like that? But he showed the patience. He stuck with the guy. He knew who to stick with. He knew who to pull. And you look at where they are right now, they're 35-29. I think they're going to beat Kentucky tomorrow. They should have beaten Kentucky 3 out of 3 when Kentucky was here before. Back then, James Fisher Jameson wasn't throwing well. Neely wasn't throwing well. Pierce Coppola, that was his first game to start. And he threw a couple of innings, or a second game, threw a couple innings and pitched well. And Pierce Coppola will go tomorrow, I'm sure. And I think he'll give the Gators, they're going to look for him to go 4 innings, 5 at the most, give them what you got. And I think they're going to go with the idea that, okay, we're going to go 4. We're going to fill in with maybe Clemente. He only threw 10 pitches today. And then let Fisher Jameson close. Try to save Neely if you can. Although if they need a ninth inning, he'll be the guy. Trust me. And get there. And then you're going to be in a situation. You're going to have to beat the Aggies twice. Can we do it? I don't know. But just getting there is going to be an accomplishment.
They get to that situation. They want it, to my mind. They're playing with house money. I know we don't believe in
moral victories,
but still in this situation, it's been amazing. I think they're playing with house money. I give them. Franz Van Der says, Franz, that's when he figured out the relief pitching. Is what he said.
Well, he figured out the relief pitching all along. It's just his relief pitchers, didn't get it done. Neely changed. Neely went from a guy that got bombed at the week before against Kentucky, and he goes there at Georgia, and all of a sudden he is nails at Georgia. Like I said, they became a team in Athens. Which is why I think that's why they've been able to win on the road at Stillwater. They've been able to win on the road in Clemson. Why they're doing well right now up there in Omaha. I mean, you're telling me that this team that took Texas A&M to the mat and should have beaten them, and is not one of the 3 or 4 best teams in America. If anybody would say that, I'd say you're nuts. This is one of the best teams in America.
Just scored, by the way. Did they hit a home run? They scored. Somebody tell me. They just got a base hit. They scored. Finally scored. Got a base hit. I guess I can't see it on screen.
No, it's still 5-0.
Okay. Well, look like on the screen. No, you're right. Still 5-0. The foul ball, I guess. Yeah. All right, Francis, as usual, thank you. Great stuff. You're reading. Don't forget, when it comes down to the baseball team, you want to make sure you go to GatorBaitMedia.com and read his columns. It's one of the most popular things on the internet, and we appreciate your support. And Francis, good job. We'll talk to you tomorrow, and maybe we'll talk again if they get to the finals. We'll talk some more, Francis. Thank you.
Well, the task ahead of them is monumental. You got to beat Kentucky. And you're going with your number 3 pitcher. You got to beat Kentucky. You're going to have to then come back and beat the Aggies twice. But I'm not saying this team. I'm not going to say this team cannot do it. I'm just not. They've proven everybody wrong so far, and would it surprise me if they continue to do it? No, wouldn't at all.
Are you confident?
I'm confident that they're going to play well. I don't know if they're going to win. I'm confident they're going to play well. It's a funny game. It's like you were talking about Laviolette stealing the home run away from Cade Curlin. Cade Curlin had a sure triple stolen away from him today with just a magnificent diving catch out in right field. That ball was going to be a triple easily. Yeah. So, stuff happens. People make great plays, things like that you can't count on. The one thing you can count on, though, is Florida's going to play well. They're going to represent the University of Florida well. And at the very, very worst, Florida is one of the 6 best teams in the country. Those points add up for the Carmichael Cup, the Directors Cup. Florida, I've got Florida finishing 4th right now, ahead of Tennessee. If we can get to, if we can get past Kentucky today, which means we'll have no worse than 4th, it doesn't matter if Tennessee wins the national championship of baseball. Florida will finish 4th and ahead of Tennessee in the Directors Cup, which is
you heard it right here from Franz Beard. Appreciate it, Iron Duke. Appreciate it, man. Talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.
Take care.
Franz Beard. All right, folks, I want to just round it out by telling you about our good friends at WinStar Medical Research, who have done so many good things in our community. They're well known here for their spirited community involvement, but they're also doggedly finding better ways to treat us in our health, and that's very important. And they want to stress the importance of something called clinical trials. You can sign up for a clinical trial if you'd like to. They have on lots of different things, including, things that you may even be involved in or may have had. But the bottom line is that they want to find better ways to be able to treat us. They do that by having this clinical trials on things that might pertain to you. I encourage you to go to their website. Go to winstar.net, look it up and see if you qualify. If you qualify for these, you might receive compensation for time and travel, and you'll help give us better health. WinStar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. All right, folks, my wife says it's time to go, so we'll see if we can find the close on this new contraption I've got here. We're back tomorrow night. We'll probably be on the road, coming to you live after the game, and we will be back with our guests, our usual Tuesday night guests, and look forward to have them with you. Have a good night, and thanks for listening, and thanks for watching.